Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amanda Hunt. I am the Director of Education and Public Programs here at MoCA. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Marie Buck and Anna Vitale will present today's poetry readings on the Sculpture Plaza as a part of the Storefront project, which I'll go into in a moment. But first, I'd like to introduce our readers for today. Marie Buck is a scholar, poet, and longtime instructor of literature and writing. Her scholarly research focuses on the literature of social movements, and as part of that, her dissertation was entitled, is this better? Can you hear me? We might need to turn this up. Graphic Bodies, Literature of the Black Power and Women's Liberation Movements, 1967 to 78. Buck is the author of a collection of poetry, life, and style, Patrick Loveless Editions, 2009, and several chapbooks. Other works have been anthologized in Against Expression, an anthology of conceptual writing. Anna Vitale is a writer and performer interested in psychoanalysis, music, and improvisation. Her most recently published work is Unknown Pleasures. Please join me in welcoming them to Storefront, This Known World, Spontaneous Particulars of the Poetic Research Bureau.
Hi everybody, can you hear okay? I was going to do the same thing, but you read exactly what I was going to read pretty much. So without further ado, I will welcome you all. I welcome Marie Buck to you all.
Hey. Okay, thanks for coming. Thanks for having me. So this poem is called I Hear You Drop Like a Stone. Do you guys hear me okay? Good. Yeah? Okay, awesome. I hear you drop like a stone. Today I hope I'll cut my hand on a drone and get drenched in blood and bleed out before my own vacant stare. I'm often told, don't blink, but I keep winking rapidly. Don't blink, and yet I wink and wink. Lucky for me, you never know when my arm will turn into a gun. And yet also, you never know when my arm will turn into an arm that shoots no one. An arm that mostly carries, types, lifts weights, cooks, does dishes, waves hello, and gesticulates when I talk about whatever it is I'm talking about. A trooper I'm looking out for wants to play charades while still sedated. And so I'm going to slink strangely into my chair. My chair sits just inches away from fudge brownies. Fudge brownies that say, shut the fuck up, on them and white icing. I play with my keys, which hang from a lanyard. The lanyard too says shut the fuck up on it. I have a few better suggestions for the people who make lanyards. The lanyard would be better if it said, to have something you must own it. Or maybe it could say, real life is to be on paper, to be correct on paper. You have to have one name, one father, one wife. Sometimes people ask me about my worship and leadership. My reply remains the same. My Lord Grox is a lover, not a fighter. That's what characterizes him. Yet now I'm never going to be done shooting this gun. Yet now I'm a chump and a parasite to the community. It would be more to the point if you said, "Good night, Marie. May God have mercy on your soul." Three. When I was 8 or so, my brother and I would go over to play with some kids in our neighborhood. There were 2 boys, one in my grade and one in my brother's. We traipsed in their backyard pool. Their mother had forbidden us from coming into the house when they were still wet from the pool, they said. And so instead, when they had to pee, they illicitly peed in a cooler that sat on the back porch. They would pee in front of me on purpose, and I would pretend not to care. When I had to pee, I would insist on going in the house to pee, and no one else seemed to be home or to care, and they would peer in at me through the window, since the bathroom had an open window to the back of the house. I thought I'd outsmart them and go upstairs to pee, but the upstairs bathroom window opened onto the back deck, so they had only to ascend the stairs in the back porch, and they had me there too. I should have closed and locked the window. The shade was already drawn, but that is the thing they would open with their hands and look through. Another friend of mine, a girl, claimed during sleepovers that she was not allowed to flush the toilet at night, since it woke her parents up. I would use the toilet and not flush.
But the girl's solution was to pee into a hard plastic kitchen cup that she had in her room. I dared her to do it in front of me, and she did. Later, much later, as I was friends with this girl for a long time, we went back into the creek behind our house and played in the creek itself, despite being told not to. We came back covered in mud and were stripped out in the laundry room. I was given some of the girl's clothes to wear for the rest of the day, including a pair of her underwear. 4. After I was born, I had to find something to do. Sometimes I would scream into a cup. It sounded like this. Ah! 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 The public's century. When I see another human, I'm always like, hey, cool, oh, sorry, thank you. Eyes collect all the junk and squeeze it out the side. But Grox, my liege, is marked on this earth by a book and a tooth. This book and tooth melt the lark as it flies to the sky. They melt the squirrel as it scurries by. According to me, Grox nuzzles us with book and tooth in each of our inflamed brains. You slay me, someone giggles. That's right, someone is slain. The nuzzling creates hard nubs, nubs which can build to an apex. And Grox whispers to these little nubs from his earth husk. So I guide Grox's toes to the ocean side, and hold my sports bra up with my mouth and pretend it's a megaphone. I know how to make a dog look like it's talking. We put peanut butter in its mouth. Same goes for Grox. So here I sit, relating to the Second Amendment. When someone stumbles upon me like, hey, cool, oh, sorry, thank you, I can blow them away or tell them they're welcome. Or I can repeat it back. Hey, cool, oh, sorry, thank you. And they do it back to me like, hey, cool, oh, sorry, thank you. And I'm like, hey, cool, oh, sorry, thank you. Sweet dreams. It's amazing how easy it is to take advantage of people who are frightened. Our mysterious lady talks to horses. So, our mysterious lady talks to horses, does she? I could clap you in chains for that remark. But I won't. You speak the truth. And I survived the piggy pointing his stun beam at me. Boil me in butter and call me Flounder, I say. That was a close one. Here I am, despite how hard it is to find a decent cheeseburger on the Crystal Isle. Despite that we took the transporter to Beast Island on a family trip. Despite that I miss commercials when I watch public television. Despite that I'm a patient without an oxygen tent. An appendicitis victim without penicillin. Out here working on my El Camino, sweaty, grease all over my hands, allergic to meatballs, allergic to salad, always having to run. I think we have a problem, says the sea plunderer. If you do not define jockstrap for me, I will reduce your town to rubble. Well, the jockstrap is a particular kind of strap, which is constructed of a strap-type material, which is utilized exclusively for the purposes of, yeah. I'll pet you with my middle finger. Once someone told me I had seen how the sausage got made. I'd seen it with my computer, which is a word I like to use for the brain. A friend of mine does Himalayan salt lamps and the Himalayan salt. I remember his heat and the promise he made to blast open the future, and I see how nothing's been done. How my middle finger still needs a splint. How we ought to be thinking rocket launchers rather than side lamps. And yet I'm here alone, vomiting, seeing an image of a skull there in my vomit. This is how my head's in a cage full of bees. This is how I watch a close-up video of a tattoo being created with my head still in a cage of bees. This guy at my gym wears a t-shirt that says, "Meetings will continue until morale is improved." And yet I'm busy noticing the freakiness of the human eyeball, how it betrays its human's emotions in the direction of the human's attention. I pass before the eyeball two young dollars, and the eye follows them as though reading across a page. You know the hole you crawled out from. We're living through the second Gilded Age with all that's happening to women right now. Yeah, you fucking dick. We're living through the second Gilded Age. While doing some dental work on my mouth, my dentist asks me if I have a boyfriend or a husband and picks up my hand to see if I'm wearing a ring. Yeah, you fucking dick, I do. I came out of the birth canal very, very quickly. So quickly the nurse almost dropped me. I was already wearing a t-shirt. The t-shirt said, "If it ain't pit, it ain't shit." I already liked pit bulls. I already liked milk. I withdrew a small mirror from my pocket, and in it I showed the nurse my true face. My true face is fucked up. My tongue of that face thrusts out for milk. Even in a shitty rural town with few opportunities and a high crime rate, adolescents contemplating their futures will say that they want to leave and maybe come back when it's time to have kids, since it's a good place to have kids, safer than a city, which is untrue. Even in rural southern towns where everyone speaks with a strong southern accent, people still put on an exaggerated and slightly different fake southern accent when they want to imitate someone from a more rural southern town and suggest something bad about that person. Yeah, you fucking dick. You slime-filled blister. 13. Once I was at an ice skating birthday party. It was the first time I had ever ice skated. I felt joyous but wrong. I went to the bathroom and was washing my hands. I vomited suddenly and tried to swallow it, as I didn't want to be sent home, though some of it overflowed my mouth and dripped down my chin into the sink. I rinsed my mouth out. I didn't want to stop skating, so I skated some more. Later, my friend's Italian grandmother made us spaghetti to eat. People's parents were starting to show up, and everyone praised the real Italian spaghetti. But I was different. After eating the spaghetti, I went down to the bathroom in the basement and threw it up. An adult came to check on me and stayed there with me in the dark, patting my hair, and then called my mother. When I'd recovered a bit, they brought me back up to see my friend blow out her candles. The cake showed my friend Michelle smiling next to Grox. Michelle didn't really look like herself, but Grox's scales and fangs were extremely realistic. "Happy birthday, Michelle," the cake said, in white icing. Hay in my mouth for 2,000 years. I took pictures of creamed corn and searched for a sauna. And you drew a volleyball where my head once was and noticed. Man is slime. And yet I hold the key to my future in my own hands. And yet it turns out these hands are made of chicken salad and so cannot really lift things, or even wave. They are barely held together at all. If I were to move these hands from my lap, I think I would find they detach from my arms, in fact. Instead, I've been given a tattooed hand positioned so that it encircles my neck. Invisibly moved by it, I know that people are watching my emotions express themselves, since I can't really control them very well, since I tend to get a little butterfingered. I lied, it's all lies. The community center and its fake plants, the hieroglyphics I wrote in, which aren't even real, the squalene necrotic tissue that isn't really dead. These are all fake names that I gave. My name is actually Marie. I've spent all of history fantasizing. In West Germany, I drank a whole bottle of vanilla flavoring. Do you think I'm drunk? Do you think I'm drunk? Well, I'm drunk. I thought I'd buy the submission dusting powder, but then instead I bought the submission perfume. I'm touching my girlfriend's skin, which is so soft it only gives me 3 splinters. The blackberry thorn solders itself to my wrist vein. Hope is a real thing, just like despair. I let the fish suck on my face and open my mind to that hunk of meat. I'm standing behind the convenience store, and I just want to leave Earth, but not to die. Breathe again when I'm fallen into a giant pie. The first time I ever really felt safe was under the weight of a wagon wheel. I cry and cry for 3 hours and wonder if my mount can have a mount of its own. Can it? Can my creature ride another of my creatures and bend it to its will as I bend to my will the first of my creatures? Right now, a long hair from my head has become trapped. Trapped underneath the bottom of my shirt, it brushes the small of my back. I look at my face and find my eyes too small. My nose there, with the uneven nostrils. I relax my face muscles. I open the file I have. It's a file of babies meeting their parents' twins for the first time. Who's this? Who's this? Is that Daddy? No, it's not. My own twin is standing behind the door of my bedroom watching me, watching the thorny vine grow along my arteries. I'd be better off trying to sell pre-licked food on the street. The second part of this poem gets a little freakier. It's a man commanding another man to rise from the dead. The dead man feels. He feels a strange tugging. A long hair from his head is trapped between the cheeks of his ass, and the first feeling he has is the hair shifting slightly, responding to some imperceptible movement he never made because he was dead. A shifting where he didn't expect it, which causes him awareness. A sharp pain in his head makes him reach out to the man who commands him. The dead man lurches forward, lipping the neck of the man who commands him. Me, though. I'm structured to be gored, and I announce that to the whole scene. To the man who commands the dead man, to the dead man, to the audience, an audience that also participates, against its own freakish will. I cough into your face, and you cough into mine. I was practicing suspending a coin in midair, a coin the size of a standard desk globe, and the weight of a very heavy thing. And now I remember something already ghoulish. My majestic pink belly glowing in the dark. The belly button ought to be sexy, but isn't. It's sexy to the one who licks it, but feels like nothing to the one who's licked. So that both parties will eventually decide to end the awkwardness of trading pleasure, and sit back, and instead read the script on the decorative napkins they've been given. The script that says, the world is not terrible, it's pretty awesome, which no one believes, which kills all desire. 14. Once I tried to have my computer repaired. That somehow sounds old-fashioned now, but I did. A computer repair guy came to my apartment and played around on the computer for a few hours. Then he charged me $160 and said he couldn't fix it. I felt like I had to pay him, so I paid him, and he gave me a complimentary cookie that this computer repair company would give out. I was starving, since I'd had to wait for several hours while this guy tried to fix my computer and didn't really have any food around. I ate the cookie and lay on my bed. The next day I felt quite ill and laid down. Then I got up suddenly and rushed to use the toilet. Then I suffered from food poisoning for about 12 hours, mostly sitting on the toilet and vomiting into the tub next to it. At some points I lay on the floor in the bathroom and vomited into the toilet, drifting in and out of sleep. I woke again, coughing, trying not to vomit, then trying to vomit, and realized with alarm that I was choking on whatever it was I was vomiting up. I'm going to die on a bathroom floor, I thought. Eventually I brought up a gelatinous black mass, though I missed the toilet and coughed it straight onto the floor. It seemed to be the source of the poisoning, and I decided it must be the cookie from the previous day. Why would I eat a cookie from a computer repair place that could not even fix my computer? Why would I eat that? However, the gelatinous black mass unfurled itself and showed it was feathered. Sorry, it said to me. Sorry, it said to me again. I mean, your life is about to get kind of better, but the overall trajectory of the world is about to get much worse. You're probably best off if you stay here with your broken computer and vomit-covered tub. Fuck you, I said. Fuck you. A glimmering corridor invites you in. I'm sleeping in the room of salted flesh, watching a garish thing, basically a feathered woman. Basically a feathered woman putting on another skin. And so I communicate to you with my vomit, altering color and texture to create a code, making my ideas as concrete as possible. My idea is that we should go to the aquarium, the beach. And now at the beach, I watch someone pull a cigarette butt from the nose of a sea turtle using a pliers, while the sea turtle bleeds and resists. I mean, blood runs from the sea turtle's nose while the sea turtle jerks and cries with pain. My relationship to the sea turtle. Now it's a bomb I've never dropped. And so my eyes burrow deep within the pockets of my face. Maybe one of you is a prison guard and the other a prisoner. Having gone to school together, you recognize one another, and eventually begin sleeping together. When you sleep together, you remember the smell of pine sol from when you were just starting to crawl. You smell the scent of pine sol and keep enjoying one another. You enjoy one another so much. There's a third character in this stupid scene, though, too. That character wears a t-shirt that says, "I paint so that I don't snap." This character watches you, the prisoner, and you, the guard, fucking. Sitting on a train, he returns to his true form, the form of a child. He speculates to his friend, "If my family were rich, I'd wake up in the morning and get a $100 bill instead of a $1 bill." But no one in the scene is rich, and each character stashes their money deep within their heart, so that it is no longer just a piece of paper, but a continuous wave pulsing at a frequency that comes from a mysterious part of the brain. When I see this scene, a stream of water shoots out of my fingertip, freezes, and forms an ice gun. Yet despite the ice along the line of my hand, I'm sweating full of force. And when I look at the hardwood floor underneath me, my sweat is pooled, I'm slipping in it, it's forming shapes, pools the shapes of children doing acrobatics. Liquid children, and then my skin raising into goose flesh, nuggets also shaped like children, terrible, terrible children, who speculate on what would be different if their families were rich. And wearing my camo jacket to bed, I dream myself out in an iron bed that folds down from the wall. Here we are dreaming in this iron bed. I'm sleeping in the hammer distro, watching myself cry in the mirror. Here I create Powerball, a game. Here I bend my knees, then unbend them, and trust my vicious body to walk the earth. Both of my touches. I'm always great to have around, in that I want so much that I warp the wood floors with my drool. And seeing how warped the floors are, everyone else infers my want, copies it, and feels nagging holes in their hearts, lack of love, lack of stuff, and absence where they'd hoped for a feeling of pride and success. But you, as a retiring state employee, you can probably buy a cheap winter home in Florida if you've managed your money well, and have a yard that backs up to some woods. That feels very private. If you're particularly lucky, you can probably end up on the edge of the subdivision and feel like your home is even more private. And this is a good deal, a good investment. All yours, and you can drool with a mixture of satisfaction and a deeper want, a want that you couldn't even really fathom. If you didn't have this winter home in Florida, if you were someone else or done things a bit differently, a bit more poorly. This drool can capture both want and deep satisfaction at your ability to feel this particular kind of want as you walk around your house, your private house, your house with so much privacy, drooling and drooling, letting it drip from your mouth down to your chin and drop down onto the floor, which isn't covered in cat hair, which has been swept pretty recently and which is ready to receive your drool. Later you can see it and dab at it with a Kleenex, or maybe just let it go and walk over it for a few hours and maybe it won't be there anymore. Though in that scenario, there's a point at which you stop salivating, and that point definitely doesn't exist. Sometimes in the dead of night, I wake up to find my tongue's become a thin metal rod, because the meat of the tongue fell off, and that's what was left, so everyone will know that I've always had a tongue that's a thin metal rod underneath. A rod unsuited to drinking beers, eating hot dogs, or even talking to cool or interesting women, much less being one, much less looking at myself in the mirror, and seeing both a cool, interesting woman and the kind of girl or guy who could pick up a cool, interesting woman, or, who could go to a show on a warm Saturday with someone new and cute and have a good time and not think about their drool, or their parents' drool, or even their friends' drool. Instead, I'm the type of person who would, as soon as they'd stopped drooling, eat part of a sandwich from a very legit-seeming Italian place, and immediately puke into a trash can about 10 seconds after telling a chatty stranger how great the sandwich is. That's the kind of thing I would do. Thanks.
Thanks. Thanks for tolerating the toddlers and drunk brunchers and everything. Next up is Anna Vitale. Her latest book is Detroit, Detroit, so please give a warm welcome.
Just hold on, we're going home. Drake. said that, saying that. And the second epigraph to this poem is from Amiri Baraka, Home Social Essays. Having been born October 7, my nature was to listen to everybody, to be sensitive to and look at everything. But my tendency, body and mind, is to make it, to get there, from anywhere, going wherever, always. By the time this book appears, I will be even blacker. Going. Social essays. Going. Just hold on, we're going. Social essays. Going. Just hold on, we're going. Going. Social essays. Going. Just hold on, we're going. Going. Just hold on, going. Social essays. Having been born going, his nature was to be sensitive, to listen. I got my eyes on. To get over, to make it. You left your mark to get to your mark. Essays will to be black. Just hold on, we're going. Social essays. 'Cause you're a good, and you know my tendency to make. 'Cause you're a good, and you know my tendency is to make. I know exactly who you could just hold on to flaunt this pyre where pure stretches white body, the body, my body of witches. What body, what scattered girly story, folded and folded bids, herded, chipped, want to make, smoked, won't have touched, minded, mouthed, refused, going, come back blacker. But even blacker, right? Even blacker, right? Even blacker, eh? Going, come black. Just hold, prove it. Scars, cars, bars on windows, reams draped on sides, hide beams and shadows, the hearts of memes. So what when we tear apart a sun dead under us by cross, be Billy, shadow. Who knows that best? Who knows that suffering? Scars, cars, bars on windows, this skin shack that can't get, to live, to go to. Whose? This. Whose? Is race, streets, place, subtle, slash, toy, mic, whose register? The owners versus those who moan the takeaway. And there is a storm that rolls in from the side of his eye. Fight for his corner, fight for my scars, cars, bars, prove it. Listen to tendency to get to black, to adjust white out. Boomin' Words from Hell. Boomin' Words from Hell is the debut album of Isham. It was first released in 1989 when Smith was 13 years old and was reissued the following year. Boomin' Words from Hell was recorded in one day. The lyrics of Boomin' Words from Hell developed from the turmoil of Detroit at the time, including the era's rise in crack use. According to Smith, It was all an expression about 70s, 80s drug cartel, Young Boys Incorporated, Mayor Coleman Young, the city we lived in, and just the turmoil that our city was going through at the time. We referred to the streets of Detroit as hell on that record. So that's where my ideas came from. Boomin' Words from Hell was first issued in 1989. At the time, Smith was 13 years old. It was promoted via word of mouth following the album's initial release. The album was reissued with an alternate track listing and artwork in 1990. According to Smith, the album's lyrical content was so dark that it was the subject of many rumors. People got the first album and they would just make up stories. They'd get into an accident and be like, I got into an accident because I was playing that tape. It wasn't like we helped ourselves when we described what was in people's heads. It wasn't to shock people, though, but to get people involved in what we were doing. We had to get people's attention. We said a lot of things that people didn't want to say. We said a lot of things that people didn't want to hear. We talked about a lot of political and social issues that people didn't want to talk about. Isham found it difficult to develop a fan base because many wrote off the dark content of his lyrics and imagery as shock value, while hip-hop fans did not connect to the album because of Smith's heavy metal influences. In All Music Guide to Hip-Hop, Jason Birchmeier writes that many of the songs here are fairly mediocre relative to Isham's later work, but there are a few gems here that foreshadow his subsequent work. Rap Reviews reviewer John Michael Bond wrote that the fully realized darkness that surrounds both soundtrack and verses on Boomin' Words stands as a stark reminder that just because someone's a kid doesn't mean he can't have anything to say. We built this gold. We built this gold on. We built this gold. We built this gold on. Built this gold. We built this gold on this gold. We built this gold on this gold. We built this gold on this gold. Got burnt, got schooled. We built this gold on this gold. We built this gold on this gold. We built this gold on this gold. Got spent, we built this gold on this gold. We built this gold on this gold. We built this gold on this gold. Got gilded, got ghosted, got the gilded gilt street ghost, gutted duck, gristle, grape, seasoned millet, gore reduction, glib spit, pulled gullet, a way to start conducting business. Revolver kicks back, loaded, guns and butter, shoot the knife, goldfinch, American plumage, rummage, pigeon menu. Website says, picture a kid in a grocery cart at a laundromat, third world wannabe. Gold, cash, gold, green in the filling, chew, leisure, clandestine, rubbed, Shinola. I don't know shit from Shinola, but your clandestinity is too much for me. You made me want to write this plaint. Paint the capital T train station across the street black. It won't match the gold sign strung from slow, leisure, beam, nostalgic, klepto, maniac, lease, slow, gilded, image, the capital T train station. Just look. Take it. Slow. Slow drink, slow cure, slow sash, slow light, slow denouement, slow diminishment, slow developate, slow lift, entrance. Gold cash, gold, gold butter, gold gun, gold revolver, gold rubbed, gold slow. These gears, switch lanes, my cash, my watch, my craft, my industry. Toss up my butter hair, color my main, disguise dalliance, and split my name. Come to slit my throat on the river already dead. Gold cash, gold rubbed, gold revolver, gold finch, gold American, gold watch, gold who, gold me, gold black, gold bike, gold you, gold tiger, gold white, gold wing, gold fist. Deliver gold finch to American breakfast. Deliver gold locks to pinch this mess. Tote bags around eyes instead of addressing. Deliver gold tails to suede this hood. Deliver gold watch to arrest this hood. Tote bags around eyes instead of addressing. I feel sentimental for across the street. I want to dine in glass, rub it in my hair, drink a beverage out of it. Cubes of ice look like it, glass in my lap, on my plate when I chew it. This wish is incident. This building is industry destiny. Donate skull, donate forefinger, donate roof of mouth. To build or not build, gild or not gild. Built this gold. We built this gold on, built this gold. We built this gold on. Hey, I like margaritas in Mexican town. I've had a lot of delicious ones with my friends. I eat barbecue, I ride my bicycle, I drink cocktails, I ride my bicycle, I drink cocktails, I eat pizza, I get my hair cut, I ride my bicycle, I listen to Gil Scott-Heron, I'm singing. We drink beers and we're Detroiters. We are Detroiters. So about growing up there. So about eating cereal. I ride my bicycle. I don't know shit from Shinola. I don't know shit from Shinola. I listen to the radio, feel the wide stretch of the road, like to drive and want to drive fast. This burger is delicious. I love the bacon. I love the cheese. When my friends and I in high school used to skip school to smoke pot, sometimes we'd drive around Detroit. Sometimes we'd drive around Belle Isle. Sometimes we'd buy weed on the street in Detroit. When I lived in Detroit, I wouldn't drive around Detroit. But I walked around Detroit, and I rode my bicycle a lot. Come and talk to me, I really want to meet you, girl. I really want to know your name. Oh, come and talk to me, I really want to meet you, girl. I really want to know your name. And then Jodeci goes on to sing, you look so sexy, you really turn me on, blow my mind every time I see your face, girl. You look so sexy, you really turn me on, blow my mind every time I see your face, girl. I've been watching you for so very long, trying to get my nerve built up to be so strong. I really want to meet you, but I'm kind of scared because you're the kind of lady with so much class. And the boys that I grew up with that lived in that neighborhood looked pretty much like these boys. See you, lady, I forget what to say. You're the boy, this boy does a good job at representing what white boy gangsters looked like in that neighborhood. And you know, people used to get jumped or harassed by the police for wearing certain colors, and red was associated with Latin counts. I really want to meet you. One afternoon, my friend and I walked around. We were babysitting. We were walking around with the baby in the stroller all afternoon, following this boy that we thought was cute, and he mooned us. At one point, he pulled his pants down and showed us his butt, and that made us even more interested in him, and we just kept following him around. There's nothing else to do. I want to know what it is that makes me feel this way. You know, when I lived in that neighborhood, and even all the time that I was growing up in Detroit, looking and being looked at were really powerful experiences. You could get in a lot of trouble for looking at someone the wrong way, and it would feel really bad if people were staring at you and looking at you, staring at you, looking at you, letting you know that you didn't belong by the way that they looked at you, letting you know that they weren't afraid of you. It's dangerous. It's dangerous, that sense of taking up space, needing to protect your body and your space. But you do that because you don't feel relaxed. You don't feel like it's yours. The insistence that this space is yours, the insistence that this looking belongs to you and not to the one that's looking at you, that comes from a place of not being certain at all that the place that you live in belongs to you, and that the world that you look at is a place that you're supposed to be allowed to live in.
I don't know. Yeah.
Thanks for coming out. Our next reading will be on June 18th with Rodrigo Toscano, Sofia Lafraga, and Ed Steck. So come out then if you can. Please feel free to hang out. I think they're going to turn the sound back on for our exhibit here, so check it out. Thanks for coming.